whole season comes down to this play.
Dropped it, hit him right in the hands.
It's shocking.
Mark Andrews hit him in the hands and dropped it as he fell into the end zone.
There is a somber, sobering reality that the Baltimore Ravens will not be playing this weekend. It hit me very hard this Sunday. Like, it took a lot out of me. This is something that many Baltimore Ravens fans were not expecting going into AFC Championship weekend. Like, we thought that the Ravens were going to be in the AFC Championship game and redeem themselves. It's been 12 years. It's in New Orleans. Lamar Jackson is 28 years old. There are so many factors that we just believe that the Baltimore Ravens were going to make it to a Super Bowl this year. But it is what it is. And reality set in that it's not going to happen this season. Just like each and every season for the last 6 years, where we believed our Baltimore Ravens were going to go and finally get that championship, it hasn't happened. And a lot of people are out here trying to find blame to place on one person or another. But like they say, it's a team game. It's a team loss. Not one play loses a game. Not one play wins a game. But I've had time since Sunday to cool off, to think about some things. I have done nothing. I have not made videos. I've not watched TV. I've stayed off of the internet. Essentially, I've just gone to work and just laid there for 2 straight days. Like, it hit me that hard. But then I just started thinking about the game. I started realizing so many things that came about with the loss to the Bills, like just how everything was laid out for us. The Kansas City Chiefs are wounded. The NFC participant may not have been the toughest matchup in the world to win a Super Bowl. And I realized this morning that Hard Knocks was still going on. And I just thought to myself, everything just lined up for us. The Ravens could have gone on a path to the Super Bowl, and they would have had NFL films there to document every move. Hard Knocks would have been there to document every play, every conversation, just the journey as a whole. And right now, we were the only things smoking on Hard Knocks. So it's totally Raven-centric. It would have just documented and cemented the legacy of Lamar Jackson and gave more insight as to the leader and the player that he is. But unfortunately, we lost out and none of this happened. And that made me feel even worse. And then it was like, and then I got a message on my phone saying, hey, you're a content creator. Should you not be out there creating content? So this is why I'm here. And I thought about the game. I looked over some things. I've kind of rehashed the pain. I've opened that wound. And then looking at the Baltimore Ravens loss to the Bills, I came about some thoughts. And yes, a lot of us fans want to blame Mark Andrews. A lot of us fans say, hey, one play does not lose you the game. How about 3? Does 3 plays lose you the game? Could 3 plays affect the outcome of a win? I say that it does. I don't particularly blame Mark Andrews. I did on Sunday. Like, it was Mark Andrews, like, bruh, come on. But the thing that got to me was how they're making excuses for Mark Andrews, but they're not making these same excuses for Lamar Jackson. Yes, Lamar messed up. That interception, I looked at it again. It was terrible. Rashad Bateman was nowhere near that pass. Nowhere near that pass. That fumble, he was trying to make a play, go down, punt the ball, live another down. But then I started thinking, it's always a comedy of errors that just starts the Ravens to crumble, starts the downfall of the Ravens losing out on the game. In 2019, it was the tip pass that Mark Andrews had go off his hands for an interception. That started the downfall of the game. And that drop pass that Mark had, it changes the complex of the game. That drop pass led to that fumble. Well, I'm not going to say led to the fumble, but there is a cause and effect element to all of this. If Mark Andrews catches that pass, I can't remember if it was a first down or close to a first down, it changes the play calling entirely. We don't have to drop back the pass. We run Derrick Henry, we get the first down, we keep marching, possibly get a field goal out of it. So that changes the complexity of the game. Then the fumble. If we get those 3 points on at least a field goal on that try, we don't have to go for a 2-point conversion at the end. And then, of course, we have the drop pass. But things happen. Everybody made mistakes. Everybody plays a hand in this loss. So I'm not putting all the blame on Mark Andrews. But what I am putting on Mark Andrews is his cowardly actions. And it really hit me in watching Hard Knocks when I saw Mark Andrews walking across the field and he had that C on his chest. And that C stands for captain. The Ravens in their history have never had captain's patches on their jerseys. And this season, they eventually decided that's something that they were going to do. And Mark Andrews was named one of the captains of the team. Now, yes, you made some plays. You didn't make some plays. It happens. I'm not here to rehash the facts that you do not show up in the playoffs at all. Isaiah Likely has 2 touchdown receptions. One in this game, which was a very difficult pass in the snow, in the cold, in the wind. But more importantly, as a captain, you have younger players that look up to you. Isaiah Likely looks up to you. He called him Big Bro. He said, I emulate everything that he does to try to become the player that he is. So as a captain, after you make your mistakes, you own them and you address them, because it's not going to go away. Regardless if Mark Andrews is with the Ravens next season or another team, the question about the drop is going to come up. So why not get out in front of it right now? And as a captain, you are supposed to project leadership. You're supposed to take ownership of your mishaps and you move forward. Your team has your back. The organization has your back. Fans have your back. I understand directly after the game, cool. You didn't feel like talking. It's a very emotional time. I understand that. You don't want to go out there because you might cry on camera. I get that. You don't want to show that vulnerability. But when the Ravens cleaned out their locker room, where were you at? You're ducking and hiding, but you're supposed to be a captain and a leader on this team. And that's the one thing that I can't forgive. You left Lamar out there to hang. During the game, when you fumbled, Lamar came right up to you and was like, bro, don't worry about it. We got more plays. I messed up. You had my back. I got your back.
You had my back, I got your back. Good.
Where were you having Lamar's back when it came to the press conference? Now, he and the rest of the teammates have to answer questions for you. So that's the only problem I had with the Mark Andrews situation, is he just didn't portray leadership type qualities. Now, as far as the game goes, it's rough because we had the better team. The Bills knew we had the better team. They just outplayed us. They bullied us. Their smallest defensive line manhandled us. They were more physical than us. They out-Ravened us. These things happen. And the turnovers play a large factor in this game. They do. And for me, it's just an issue of, what about the Ravens defense? We put all this money into it. We allocate all of these draft picks and free agents into it. And in the Lamar Jackson era, they forced 3 turnovers. 1 game with Tyler Huntley, 2 games with Lamar Jackson. This is something that has to change. 2 turnovers in 8 playoff games. It's not a recipe for success. They played their part in it. They stiffened up in the second half. Lamar Jackson played a lot better in the second half. But for me, watching this debacle over again, the thing that I realized is it's coaching. And a lot of people are going to say, man, coaches don't fumble. Coaches don't throw interceptions. Coaches don't drop passes. Coaches don't have as much effect on the game as you may think. But I don't think that that's true. And I'm not blaming any one coach. I'm not blaming any one individual. But I think that we need to take a deeper look at why we continue to have these same playoff failures, the same exact way. Why when we get into these big situations, get into these big game moments, the Ravens just tend to fall short. And I believe that it starts off with the mentality. I believe it starts off with the what are we doing here? What are we doing as a coaching staff that we're not putting the players in the best positions to succeed? And a lot of people will say, well, during the regular season, we did our thing. Yes, we did, because the Ravens stuck to a formula. They stuck to an identity. And looking at this game again, as hard as it was, reality hit me like, what are we doing? I thought that this season, the emphasis was supposed to be Lamar Jackson more up under center. This is what they told us. This is what they said they were going to put emphasis on. Lamar Jackson under center more. That way you can disguise looks a lot better. You don't always have to be in the shotgun or the pistol formation. He was supposed to be up under center. And in frigid conditions, to me personally, I would have thought that they would have been up under center a lot more, which would have made things a little bit easier on Tyler Linderbaum not to possibly throw errant snaps. It's hard in that weather to snap the ball and then immediately get up and just block somebody. And I'm not making excuses for him, but it makes things a lot easier. Then we look at when Rashad Bateman caught the ball inside the 5-yard line. What was that play called? What were we doing? We are a run dominant team with an all-time great running back. And those are the plays that we call when we get down to the goal line. That's what we call. The other instance, when we scored the touchdown and we went for the first 2-point conversion, you send Henry out in motion. So you just take away the threat of Derrick Henry running the ball. So the Bills know you tipped your hand once again. We keep tipping our hand when it comes to these play calls. You send them out in motion so they know it's going to be a pass. And we bungle that. Okay, you didn't want to go for one. Cool. Stick to what got you there. Stick to what we do when we get to the goal line. Run the ball in. But okay, and not to mention the entirety of that game. Where was the run game? We brought Derrick Henry in for situations like this. 16 carries is not enough. It's not enough. Lamar Jackson didn't have any design runs. I'm cool with that. Where were the Derrick Henry runs? Third quarter, we imposed our will. We ran the ball down their throats and we forgot about it again. Like what is going on? And then the most egregious part to me is Lamar Jackson, game on the line, takes his team down the field. He makes up for his mistakes. First half, not very good. Second half, Lamar Jackson was locked in and focused. Led us on a drive to potentially tie the game. And with the game on the line, what do? We go back to a familiar friend. We go back to a play that we've run at least 2 times. I think I remember 3 times us doing it, but we run a play that we've run in the past twice. Same exact play. And neither time was this successful. Neither time. And that doesn't absolve Mark Andrews from the drop, but it tells you the mentality of this coaching staff. We were not successful on that play 2 times before. They have ended games for us at least twice in the past. And we go back to this exact same play. And I understand you wanted to give Mark Andrews an opportunity to redeem himself from what happened earlier, but this is the right to tie the game and at least go into overtime. And some people say, well, we probably would have lost in overtime. We don't know. You don't know what would have happened. The defense got itself together in the second half, shut Josh Allen down. Josh Allen had under 150 yards passing. No turnovers, but 150 yards passing. Overtime is a guessing game. You don't know what would have happened, and at least we would have had the opportunity, even if they would have went and scored a touchdown first. Optics of that looks a lot better than the Ravens falling by 2 on a play where a guy was wide open, on a play that hasn't worked in the past. So I'm not saying we need to get rid of some coaches, but I'm saying we need to get rid of some coaches only because it hasn't been working. What we've been doing has not been working, plain and simple. Every year in the playoffs, we go out the same way. Every time in the biggest of moments, in the biggest playoff games, we are uncustomarily not ourselves. We get outside of what we did to make us successful throughout the regular season, and we tried different things. Analytics killed us. If we would have gone for that extra point earlier, we'd have just needed the extra point to tie the game at the end. Mike Tomlin said it best. They are predictable. Analytics. And to me, it is just a crime. A crime. Somebody should be punished, arrested, and locked up for us getting that close to the goal line several instances and not run the ball the majority of the time. So once again, it's not on one person. You can't put this loss on one player. We've had plenty of opportunities to win this game. We had plenty of opportunities to advance to the AFC Championship game. But there just has to come a time where you say, this isn't working. And it's not to blame somebody, because the ultimate goal is to win a championship. And we have yet to do that. Possibly 3-time MVP, arguably one of the greatest running backs of our generation. Some of the best defenses the NFL has seen over the last 5 years. Added pieces here and there, but yet and still, for some reason, we cannot get over that hump. And it's not blame. It's just to say, sometimes you need to go into a different direction, because you cannot consistently and constantly do the same thing each and every year and expect different results, and then come back the next year and say, you know what, run it back again. We've seen 6 years of this. I'm not going to count the first year. Lamar was a rookie. It is what it is. But we've seen 6 years of the same thing. The only difference this time is we actually put up 25 points. We didn't go into the game and crap the bed and put up 10 points, 13, 3. We put up 25 points. But the same things plagued us that has plagued us in the past. And to me, it's play calling, it's execution. And it's not to put the blame on one singular person. But when you have the same recurring issues time and time again, something has to change. And the players have changed. They've come and gone. Assistant coaches have changed. We've moved pieces around. Everything has changed except for one thing. And it's not to say he's a bad coach. It's just to say he can't get us where we need to go. So my question to you is, do we continue to extend him grace so we can continue having these same conversations and these same feelings year after year? How many times does your spouse or partner have to cheat on you before you say, you know what? Probably a possibility they're not going to stop cheating. When do you come to the realization that things aren't going to change? And you can talk the talk, and you can say all of the right things. And I already know what John Harbaugh said in the press conference. I love my players. We fought hard. It's just a game. We're going to come back next year and get better. He said something to that effect. And this is not a John Harbaugh hunt, but he is the only constant since 2013. And we don't have a title. And I know people saying, oh, you're on a Harbaugh hunt. You're here to bash him. I'm not bashing him. I'm stating facts. Since 2013, with some of the most talented rosters. Some years by NFL claim, by coaches, by players, by publications, the Ravens have the best roster in the NFL. The Ravens have already been voted, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row to have the best organization, best front office in the NFL. So if we have the best front office in the NFL, we have the best player in the NFL, why are we not winning?